Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are here with Owen Video and Marcus from our own Visita team. I'm going to tell you more about these guys in a second. I'm just going to let you guys know that today there is no presentation, no slides. This is all about answering your questions. We have some questions we collected a couple of days ago, and we hope you guys are here with us today to share your questions in the comments. If you want to ask anything about going online, taking your business the digital way, transforming in light of what's happening in the world right now, anything business strategy, you came to the right place. We are going to answer all those questions for you. So go ahead, put your questions in the comments. We'll try and answer as much as we can during our 1 hour session. If there's anything we don't get to, don't you worry, we'll follow up with you offline. The session will be recorded, so if you need to hop off in the middle, we'll make sure to send a recording your way. Just drop us a note, let us know what your email address is, and you'll get the recording in your inbox hopefully by tomorrow. So here with us today is Owen. Owen is an online guru. He is an expert on all things video. What he does basically every day is help business owners kind of build this great bulletproof strategy and then implement that strategy online. So he is an expert on all things video, all things digital. We had a webinar with him 2 weeks ago, and guys, it was on fire. If you by any chance missed out on that, please, please, please make sure to watch it. It is fantastic for anyone that is considering taking their business online, and honestly, it's great for any business owner at all. So I'll make sure to post a link to that in our in the comments. It's on our Facebook, it's on our YouTube channel, just in case you can't find it. Here with us today is also Marcus. Marcus is, well, he used to be a small business owner himself. He used to be a fitness trainer. So if you have any questions about, staying fit during these times, maybe we'll have that next time. We have, so Marcus used to be a personal trainer. He actually was a partner in a studio as well. So that was some pretty big business running there. He's been with Visita now for 2 years. He's a sales manager, and he is an expert on Visita. He knows Visita in and out. If you have any questions about how you can implement strategy using Visita, what these features can really do for you, this is the right place. So I'm just going to stop talking right now and let these guys do what they do best, answer your questions. Guys, the stage is all yours.
Right on. Great to be here. You want me to take it? I'll take it. Because if you let me, Marcus, I will take the reins. Hey, everybody, want to say what's up? I'm Owen Video. I want to say Air 5 to all of you guys watching us live on Facebook right now or on the replay. But a very special hello to Marcus Kiwi Walter, who is watching on my Facebook live watch party. Marcus, I see you, and you can't escape me. So I'm pretty excited to answer some of the questions that I saw come in through the Excel file because, wow, the types of questions that we were getting were about strategy and about how to navigate this new virtual, like 100% digital marketplace when you're a dental coach, you coach dentists, when you coach chiropractors, when you coach fitness companies, when you are a fitness company, when you're a nail salon, like all of these really, really great questions. And so I'm excited, Marcus, to dig into them with you. And as always, I talk too much. You're going to have to just give me this. Just give me this because I have a lot to say. I have a lot to say on this subject.
Perfect. Sounds great.
So should we dig in on some of these questions?
Yeah, let's just dig in on some of these questions. I see kind of the first couple here for you. Maybe jump in on that, and then I can come in when it's appropriate.
Yeah, great. So the first question we got here is from Charles McPhail. Is that really your last name? Or is that I could? It's a great last name, but McPhail sounds like you're like maybe not doing you're hiding your last name. You wrote, how could an online tutoring company get the word of mouth out nationwide? Okay, so, I think what the question is here is we've got a local business and he runs a tutoring company and you want to get the message out nationwide. All right, so the first thing that I would do is you need to establish who your marketplace is. And a lot of small business owners, and I'm saying small, like under $1 million, sort of struggle with this question, right? Like, I can serve everybody, right? And this isn't actually the case, right? In fact, you serve a very niched out core marketplace, and you need to have a really good understanding of who that person is. We call this a buyer persona. And your buyer persona is the person actually doing business with you. And so you need to have a really core idea of who's doing business with you. So if you're an online tutor company, and let's say that you're tutoring, who are you tutoring? Elementary school kids and elementary school subjects. Then your target demographic is most likely going to be like female age 25 to 45, somewhere in that realm. And they're going to have some core needs. They're going to have needs like, my child is not doing well. I want my child to get to excel. My child is being left behind by the public school system. They're going to have sort of like this core group of problems. And what you've got to do is identify who that person is, put together a list of their biggest problems, and then start answering those problems on video. Why do we use video? We use video because it creates a connection built on trust and credibility within the first 10 seconds. You cannot get that from a blog. You cannot get that from a podcast. 2, we use video because video is easy to create. Okay, so here's what I would do. Let's say that every Wednesday from 9 to 10 a.m. your time, you're going to go live and answer questions that have come in from your audience. You're going to schedule that in Visita, okay? And you're going to use the new Zoom integration to get that scheduled. So you're actually going to schedule yourself your own appointment on Visita. This is a huge way to use Visita that you guys have maybe never heard before. Use it to schedule yourself appointments. And so every 9 to 10 a.m. you go live on Zoom, and then you stream it to Facebook. And so now you're answering the big questions your audience has in a public environment. And once it's all done, you've got that replay on Facebook. And if you can get into the habit of doing that every single week, you will outperform your competitor every single step of the way. You will have so much web traffic that you may not have enough room to handle all the business. Okay, so when it comes to whatever your business is, whether it's online tutor, fitness, you need to know who your customer is and then create content for them on a regular, recurring basis. And you know why? Because nobody will do that. Nobody will do that. Everybody wants the genie in a bottle. I want a quick solution. Hey, my business is starving now, so I need an immediate solution today. Please, 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 please. When in reality, if you're starving today, you made mistakes 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Right? So don't be in a place where 90 days from now, you're like, I should have done that. Schedule a time in your account. Create a service. Create a service in Visita. Okay, you go to Visita, you click on settings, you click on service, and you create a new service called My Weekly Address to the Nation. Right? Or like Fireside Chats with Marcus, and you go live and you just say, hey, there's a question we come all the time. My kid is behind in 3rd grade math. How do I catch him up? And you talk about 3 ways to catch them up. And at the end of the video, you talk about, and you can enroll in our online tutoring program. Okay. That is 10, 20 minutes of your time. It happens on a weekly basis. And what happens is over 90 days, even shorter than that, but over time, you'll have created a body of work. You'll have created a body of work that is generating customers, but can also be long-term, guys. Don't let me overwhelm you. Long-term, you've got this collection of videos now that could be repurposed onto YouTube, okay, which is where I excel, is taking videos from Facebook, putting them onto YouTube. You could write a book. You give all those videos to a publishing company or transcribe them. You could turn them into blog posts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that, I think, is my big answer to you. And if you guys have any questions, I see Roy Hensley is watching this, and Roy is a sign language consultant. If you've got any questions, guys, please ask them in your comments in the comment section. We'll continue answering them. But Marcus, what do you think about that? Am I way off on that advice?
Yeah, no, that's interesting, because coming back on the personal training stuff, stepping out of VC for a second, I did start like that, right? I think a lot of small businesses do. They're like, I want everyone. Right. So I was doing sports performance, weight loss, flexibility, kids, like all of these things. And there's no possible way that you can be an expert in every single one of those fields.
Yeah.
Right. So creating that buyer persona is super important. Adding on to the features of VC, I'd say using that marketing tool as well, sending out those announcement blasts, letting everybody know you're going to be doing this, creating some triggered campaigns in there. And eventually, like you said, you're building out that content, right? Now you have newsletters, you have blogs, so you have a library to choose from when you're building out campaigns in the future.
Yeah, and it's all based around your video, okay? And so we have a question coming in from where did I see it? It's on the Visita page from Jody Bentley. And Jody, I see your question. James Rohrback, I see you. Carol Lazard, I see you. By the way, that's an Air 5 right there. It's my way of shaking your hand virtually. And so if I do that, it's not smacking you. It's giving you an Air 5. Jody is asking, is there a video on the Zoom integration? Yes. There is a video on the Zoom integration, and we'll go into the sort of the steps of that in just a quick second. But to your point, Marcus, when you are creating content for everybody, you're creating content for nobody, right? And what happens is, again, this is the small business mindset. I want you guys to break out of that. I want you guys to be like, no, I serve females with kids in elementary school, ages 25 to 35 or 45. They live in suburban America. They own a home or rent a nice home. They drive a minivan. They drive an SUV. They go to Costco. Like, you have a really clear idea of who they are. Now, Owen, I'm leaving out the single dads. I'm leaving out the single dads, Owen. I'm leaving out the grandparents that raise their kids. Yeah, you are, but you're going to get them by default, okay? Because when you focus for the red dot in the center of the dartboard, you're naturally going to find the area around it. Okay, so aim for the red dot every time and make your content for that person. Part of this process is really focus your videos on the needs, right? Focus on the needs of the person rather than on like serving this wide area of people. But I'm digging too deep on that, guys. Like, just get content out on a regular basis and use the Visita features. I firmly believe, I've been using Visita for years. I firmly believe any business uses these tools and you'll see your business grow. Where we get distracted is we start to use like all these other tools. So you say, Owen, but I'm doing all these other things and now I'm supposed to add Visita and Zoom. No, you're supposed to stop doing all the things that aren't generating leads and start doing the thing that works. So going live on Facebook or YouTube once a week is not something you have to make time for. It's something you build your time around. And now your newsletters and now your webinars are all based around that weekly stream that you're doing. Okay, that will change everything for your business. Now, Jody Bentley is asking, I've been using Zoom for a long time. I'm confused with how it works, but it doesn't seem to create a passcode. Okay. All right. So let's do some Zoom 101. First of all, you got to set up a free Zoom account. And when you set up a free Zoom account, you get a Zoom number, which is a web link that it's custom to you. And you can use that all the time. Okay. You can also integrate Zoom into your Google Calendar, which you can do, but I'm going to recommend using Visita. The other thing is that Zoom allows you to set up some defaults. So you can always use your camera and you can always use a microphone, but you can also sometimes use a telephone to call in, and you don't always have to turn your camera on. So for example, I'm in Zoom right now and we're broadcasting on Visita, so I can turn off my video and you guys still see this picture of me, and I can turn it back on, which is really fantastic for jumping into meetings when you still have curlers in your hair. I don't really have curlers in my hair. I have more like magical hair growth tonic in my hair. But, we have those days where you don't want to be seen on camera. Now, once you have that free Zoom account, okay, it's really easy to use. You turn on the camera, you turn off the camera, you turn on the microphone, you turn off the microphone. You record it, you stream on Facebook. Boom, you share your screen. Everything's like one button push. But then what you do is you go into Visita and you click on settings and then click on integrations and integrate Zoom. And even with the lowest Visita account, which by the way, is so packed full of features, but even with the lowest account, you get a Zoom integration. And I believe that that's permanent, right? Or is that only a promotional thing, Marcus?
That's going to be permanent moving forward. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now, once you have that Zoom integration into your meeting, you can set appointments in Visita where every appointment starts a Zoom call. So Zoom will give you a custom link for that individual call. Zoom will email the person that you're inviting to be on setting the appointment, and Zoom takes care of all of it. So all you have to do is go into Visita, go into your GCal or whatever calendar you're using, click on that link and Zoom opens up. And that's why I like it, is it just works all the time, So Jody, I hope that that's, excuse me, helpful to you, you know, in terms of how to use it. But, you know, once you get it working, it's all about now getting people connected with you. So I would recommend moving all, if not most of your calls to a face-to-face environment so you can build attention or build that relationship faster and close sales faster.
Yeah, I see a lot of people asking about creating webinars and doing Facebook Live, which is really interesting. I think, you know, Owen, you've been doing Facebook Live forever, but I think for a lot of small business owners, this is kind of a new domain. And I have to say, like, this is a shout out to you guys. I am super impressed that you are already at the point where you're saying, like, okay, let's talk about how I'm actually doing this. Like, I'm ready. How do we get started? Like,
right.
The fact that these questions are technical and not like, wait, oh my God, Facebook Live, like, what am I even going to talk about? That is super impressive to me because, and I guess, like, these guys, you guys are the fast responders out there, because the truth is, if, you know, with what's happening in the world right now, some of you may be very limited with what you can do in terms of your more traditional services. You know, if you're used to meeting people face to face or getting people to come to your clinic, you have to kind of shift your mindset and do all that stuff in some sort of online environment. And, you know, and doing those one-to-one meetings is super important. That's kind of your first step. But then once you sort of like open your mind to the possibility of maybe, you know, doing these sessions for, I don't know, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100 people at the same time, you're actually, it's actually going beyond, you know, that regular one-on-one interaction you have. You're actually able to sort of monetize your knowledge, if that makes sense. Like, if you're not able to provide your regular services, you know, you still have what you know as a business owner, what you've learned during the years of experience. You still have so much professional knowledge you can offer. So doing something like a webinar where you come online and, you know, give some sort of presentation, doesn't have to be anything fancy, just a couple of slides, you know, with some good talking points that you have, stuff that you've learned, some stories, some examples that you've kind of come across along the way. And then even like just something like this, a Q&A session where you just let people throw questions at you and then answer them live. I think that's a fantastic place to start. And I can just share from my own experience. You know, I've done a couple of these Q&A sessions, and at first when I was getting started, I would just say, like, you know, I'd write a post on Facebook or send out an email or something and say, like, hey folks, you know, we're doing this Q&A session, please make sure to join us. And then we'd come online and they'd be like, I don't know, you know, whatever, like 2 people, which is fine too. When you get started, you know, you can't bring the world to your doorstep. You have to start somewhere. But, you know, if you're already going through the effort, you're already prepared, you know, yourself for the presentation, maybe, you know, you put on your makeup, you've done your hair, you want to get some people online with you. So what I did for this session is I actually used Visita to schedule it. So I created an event. Visita events can host you can have up to 500 people register to an event. And then if you wanted more than 500 people, honestly, you could just clone the meeting and you have 1,000 people on each, 500 on each link. So I got people to register on Visita, and then when you use Visita for that, you can also set up these like automated reminders that, you know, send everyone an email 1 hour before it starts, you know, 15 minutes before it starts. You have people adding it to their calendar. So if you are going to go down this road and do the webinars or do these online Q&As, make sure you use Visita to schedule them, and don't just, you know, count on people to show up. Because I don't know, maybe it'll work for you guys. It hasn't really worked for me.
Here's the thing. Like, Jody's got a good question. I really appreciate, Jody, your back and forth in the comment section. So I appreciate it. I want to welcome all of you guys watching this live or on the replay, because we will come back to the replay and look at this. Ask your questions, because I think it's a great opportunity to kind of workshop some of this stuff. You know, one thing I will say on what you just mentioned, when it comes to answering questions live on a Facebook live stream, you really have to come prepared with 10 questions that are always asked of you anyway. And here's why: because there's no guarantee that the people that are watching will ask questions, right? You may not even get a guarantee of watchers, and that's okay, right? You're building a body of work. And I really want you all watching this to take that away, is that the reason that we're using video is not just to connect with your audience, but to finally build a body of work. I know there's so many of you out there that want to start a podcast, you want to start, you want to write a book, you want to start a YouTube channel, you want to go live on Facebook. You know, the Visita Zoom connection allows you to do all of those things from one easy workflow, which is schedule the time in Visita and connect it to a Zoom event. And now you've got this recorded content that can be done anywhere. When you go live on Facebook, though, there's, you know, you're not going to get much of an audience until you do it regularly and people trust you, right? So I've seen this happen where, you know, you go live on Visita once, or excuse me, on Zoom once, and nobody shows up, so you never do it again. Well, you know, it's just like, you know, the grand opening of the frozen yogurt place, right? Like first day, people are like, huh? Are you open now? What? You know? Huh? It's just part of this, your grand opening, right? Is you're just getting started. Do it for 60 days and you will develop a really strong group of watchers, whether it's 20 watchers or 100 watchers, you know, but it's going to be a core group that you can rely on seeing every day. You just have to do it enough to get people to recognize you. Now Jody is asking, do I use Zoom for my webinars, or do I use them for my appointments, or do I use them for all of the above? My advice to all of you watching and not watching is you need to transition all of your stuff to virtual environments as soon as possible, okay? This is the direction that the world is going, okay? And you need to be in front of that as opposed to the last person to adapt. And I know, hey, believe me, we have friends in our network that are business owners, and by golly, I'm not going to go on video, dag nabbit, I'm going to stay here and blah, 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 blah. And unfortunately, you know, Bob, you're going to be out of business in a year. And that's unfortunate for Bob, but Bob's making that choice, okay? Don't be a Bob. Be the first person in your space to really master the Visita Zoom connection, right? So my daughter has a dance class, and their dance class can't meet, so they're now on Zoom. And my daughter's in my living room watching a Zoom call from her dance class, and they can see my daughter doing her stretches and providing coaching. So I think that your webinars should be on Zoom. And with Visita, you already have landing pages, so you don't need a ClickFunnels, and you don't need sort of like lead pages, and you don't need all these landing page companies. Visita can be your opt-in. Visita can be your landing pages. And if you have an upgraded Zoom account, Zoom provides it too. What I would recommend is that Visita is your CRM lead generation database. You start everything there. Like so many things in life, you could do it here, you could do part of it here. So you have to make a decision on the workflow. Start with Visita and then broadcast through Zoom. Start with Visita, broadcast through Zoom. Make that sort of like your driving principle, and you'll do really really well. So Artyom is asking, why only Zoom and not Hangouts or Skype, etc.? Okay, great question that has everything to do with Visita integrations. Now, you can, for example, we were using a non-Zoom company before the Zoom integration. And there were some additional steps that we had to put in place to make sure that that worked. And truth be told, we had it working pretty well, okay? But here's the thing, Artyom, is that Visita has an integration, and there's an assumption here that you're a Visita customer, or you were. And so why like make it harder on yourself because Skype exists, right? Because that's really the question. It's like, well, Skype exists. Why not use that? Use Visita because Visita and Zoom integrated, and it's now one click, right? Now, beyond that, I could go with Skype is much harder to record. It's much harder to bring in multiple people. It's much harder to manage comments. Like with Zoom, for example, we have all sorts of great features. Like I can add reactions. I can invite participants. I can share my screen. I have a chat in here. So you bring up a great question, and it's really a matter of, I think, convenience. Visita and Zoom are already connected. It's one touch. You already have an account. Boom, move forward with that. Skype and Google Hangouts. I would not use Google Hangouts, by the way. Like I love YouTube. I love Google. I know, like it's the evil empire, blah, 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 blah. Our clients are thought leaders that want to launch channels on YouTube. So I love YouTube and I love the Google interframe. But here's the thing is that Google Hangouts is kind of like their junk pile. Google's like, what do we do with this? So they threw it on calendars and now you can use it, right? There's no real team managing that. You don't have the efficiency of a Zoom call. So, you know, I would go with Zoom 100% of the way and use that process to get set up on your video calls. And here's the thing: make that decision. Just make that decision now and work with Zoom, as opposed to like keeping one foot out. Like, well, what if I did Skype, or what if I did Google Hangouts? I mean, if you're gonna do that, I hope that you're a tech blogger and you're just like analyzing the pluses and the minuses. But you know, Artyom, if you're a service provider or you're a retail business owner, like just make the decision: Visita and Zoom. for 6 months and just run on that. And then, you know, use the Vecita customer service option to work out some of your issues.
Not to mention, like, also, what is everybody else using, right? If I get a Google Hangout meeting to join a one-on-one webinar or a group webinar, am I as a client as comfortable using Google Hangouts, or am I more comfortable using Zoom that everybody else is using as well?
That's a great point. Right? Like and that's why we switched back to Zoom, right? We switched back to Zoom because Vecita had the Zoom integration. We were using a third-party site that honestly wasn't working as well as Zoom. So we were happy to switch over. But, you know, we kept running into what's this? Like, what do I have to download? And my clients are typically like techie people for the most part, right? So, you know, there was still this Zoom wins in terms of recognizability. In fact, I've been on the San Diego News, 4 times in the last month, talking about the different things that Zoom can do, because that's what even the media knows, right? So there's a lot of familiarity there, and there's a lot of work that can be done. We're getting some questions here. I want to acknowledge Fabian Ortiz, who asked the same question: why Zoom and not Google? And then Pip Seymour is saying, I thought you used Ecamm. No, I don't use Ecamm, and I never have. Now, Ecamm is a phenomenal service run by 2 fantastic guys with a phenomenal network. I've got nothing negative to say about Ecamm. But there's this element of having so many choices, you've just got to pick one and move forward, right? We moved forward with Zoom when it comes to video conferencing and Vecita. Now, when it comes to going live on Facebook, we're video producers, so we have a separate suite of tools that we use there. But when it comes to pre-recording interviews and getting one-on-ones, we use Zoom. Okay, and that's a question that's continually coming up.
Something else about choosing your video platform is that you have to remember that your video platform you use, whether it's Zoom or Skype or anything else, it's really just, you know, it's just a channel. It doesn't really do the work for you. It's kind of like saying like, oh, the phone, you know, I got my cell phone, so you know that's going to take care of me. The Zoom or whatever it is you're using, that's just the online place where you meet people. It's basically your virtual room. You still need, you know, that extra layer of, you need an orchestrator, basically.
Yeah.
So once you've chosen whether it's Skype or Zoom or Hangouts or whatever it is, you need some sort of platform to help you produce actual value from that channel. So you're going to need something that lets you to, you know, schedule a meeting or send people, let them add the Zoom meeting to their calendar and send them a reminder 10 minutes before it starts, and then send them an invoice afterwards. And then somewhere where you can, you know, keep a list, you know, when you use a platform like Zoom or Skype or any kind of webinar software, you end up with this Excel file. It's like, oh my God, what do I do with this Excel file? You know, you need a live platform where you can store your customer records and see, you know, oh, this person is really interested in, you know, football training, and this person is a yoga instructor, and this is, you know, this is this and this is that. You need something that kind of ties it all together. And I guess part of the reason that we're also recommending Zoom is because with Vecita kind of integrates really nicely with Zoom. We're able to create these, and I think someone asked a question about that too. There should be a unique link generated for each meeting you create within Vecita for Zoom.
Right.
And then you can sort of like, as soon as your, you know, Zoom meeting is over, you can use Vecita to issue that invoice or send that follow-up campaign, or, you know, just think of like, okay, what is the next step with this person? How do I continue the relationship? How do I, you know, develop the relationship between my business and this person that just, you know, hopped on a Zoom meeting with me? So that's kind of something important to keep in mind. I see another interesting question that someone posted here. Someone actually sent this in just before we started. Someone wants to know how videos can provide better conversions for new lead and retention for existing customers. I thought that was an interesting one.
Yeah, you know, we often hear a lot about video. And by the way, I see Chuck's question, and I see, is it Dave's question? Dave, I'm going to get to that in 1 sec. Same with you, Chuck. You know, we always hear about video, but I think we got to like take a step back and go, why video? Okay, then the answer is parasocial relationships. That's the answer. Okay, next question. No, I'm kidding, right? It's like, huh? What are you talking about? Parasocial relationships are one-sided relationships, and this has been a known media sort of phenomenon since the 50s, and it was coined by a social scientist, forget his name at the moment, but recognizing that when we watch characters on TV, we develop one-sided relationships with them. My biggest example is Fraser Crane, right? So I had cancer a few years ago, and I went through chemotherapy, so I spent a lot of time sitting on the couch, watching TV, eating watermelon, and drinking Gatorade for any of my chemo survivors out there. You know, I started to know Frasier Crane, right? It was like, I love Frasier. I think Frasier and I would be friends. And I watched, you know, Cheers and Frasier like every single day, multiple on end. And, you know, it was interesting this one day, my wife goes, his name's Kelsey Grammer. She's like, you mean Kelsey Grammer? And you know, it's just funny. It's like, oh, they got me. You know, here I am. I've developed sort of this likability for someone that doesn't even exist. Now, that's the TV phenomenon. When it comes to live video and Facebook and YouTube, you are creating that same relationship like that with your new viewers, and they're making these snap judgments about you, which is good news, right? When somebody logs on and logs off, they made a snap judgment about you and they don't like you. Fine, who cares, right? Your set was too messy, your shirt was too red, your skin was the wrong color. I don't care why they logged off. Who cares? But you had 10 people on with you. Those 10 people are the world. Okay. And we do this thing where we're like, I'm going to wait till everybody gets on. Hey, I'll wait a second. What you're saying is, hey, the 5 of you watching right now are not as important as the 20 people that are not watching right now. Okay. And you can't do that. You have to really please the viewer and go after them. So when you go live and speak, you know, speak to that viewer and connect with them, create that relationship. Look at the camera. Don't look down at your screen. I mean, you're going to have to from time to time, but like, you know, make a habit. Like when I'm looking at the screen at you guys right now, what I'm doing is I'm trying to establish eye contact with you guys watching at home on Facebook, and I'm not looking at the screen. My camera is right here, but my computer is down here. It's a discipline, but it's super helpful in creating connection. And connection is why video works. So what we've learned is that when your new leads come in, especially right now, you want to get them on a Zoom call as quickly as possible. You can choose to have video off or give them the option of video off, and you can give them the option to log in from a phone if they're not quite ready to jump on Zoom yet. All of that it continues to be fine. But when you can use video, you're creating connection faster, which helps you to close leads, right? Because if you guys are closing sales, then you know it's all about likability. Do they like you, right? And maybe do they like your program? But I've had people buy me and not even know what my program is. Owen, I like you. I trust you. You do great work, whatever it is, you know? That's why video, and that's why you should be using video at every single turn. I know some of you guys, my buddy Tobin Slavin is watching right now. Tobin, great to see you. Phenomenal, by the way, business leader, Tobin. If you get a chance to meet him, please do. I want to go to Dave Richardson's question, because some of us are super techie. And Dave Richardson is saying, can I connect more than one camera to Zoom? And the answer is yes, right? But this is not like Dave Richardson is a video geek like me, right? So truth be told, I have 3 cameras right now, all looking at me. Only one of them is connected to Zoom, but I could connect all of them to Zoom. And the way that you connect 3 cameras to Zoom is that you would use a software called OBS, or a virtual camera. ManyCam, for example, is a free virtual camera. You can connect all 3 cameras to a virtual camera and then choose the virtual camera as your device in Zoom. So as you switch from camera 1 to camera 2 to camera 3 in ManyCam, it switches to Zoom. Do I recommend that? No. You're putting a basketball through a garden hose and may not be the best choice for you. Another thing that you could do, though, is that you could have 3 different cameras and 3 different Gmail addresses or whatever, and log into Zoom from 3 different accounts so that you could switch the camera, you know, as you go. So there's lots of things that you can do in Zoom, which is why it's the perfect tool for building a YouTube channel or going live on Facebook, or any of those things. Now, I want to quickly answer another question from Chuck Royer. Chuck is saying, Owen Video, are you using a large HD monitor behind you instead of the Zoom green screen? Or are you using built-in green screen images that provide you different background options as needed? Okay, it's a great question, Chuck. What Chuck is referring to is another reason why we recommend Zoom, because Zoom has these phenomenal tools. So check this out. I can choose a virtual background and immediately start streaming in space. Right? But if I want to hang out on the beach, I can do that. I can do that too. And you notice how guys, this is space age technology. I want to let you know, it's space age technology. Okay, so, you know, you can see here that that it's not a perfect technology, but here's what this is great for. If you are like King of the Hill, has anybody seen King of the Hill, this old TV show from the 90s? So in King of the Hill, the wife works part-time from home in the same room as the water heater, right? And I use that analogy. If you're working in the same room as the water heater, so when you turn on your camera, you've got like this big ugly to-do behind you, or it looks very domestic and you don't want to talk to your business people like that, you can use a virtual background just like these here. And Zoom provides you with a whole bunch. And you can even upload your own background. So, you know, if I'm on, let's say, vacation, I could upload a picture of my studio and have that studio appear behind me. In fact, I just gave myself a great idea. Right now, however, no, this is all part of my studio, and this is what we do. Melissa, do you have that remote? Can you just go to station 2? I'm going to move the camera to station 2. Watch what happens. So my camera can auto, you know, zoom over to where we have musicians and different types of YouTubers come in, and it'll move it right back to me. And then it will move right back to me, right? So there's tons of cool stuff that you can do, but our advice is to keep it really simple and master the business, the art of your business, right? And master the 15-minute call. Because here's the thing. When you're used to doing a call like this, your whole body language changes, right? It changes from this to now this. Right? And you have to really be prepared for that. So I would do it now, get through but Owen, what if I mess up? You're going to do a couple, you know, quick calls with your aunt, with your sister, with your friend, sort of get used to it, and then really hit the ground running with a great Zoom stream.
I feel like we keep on getting back to the point where this is really the time. I mean, it's always time, but now more than ever is the time to be invested in your relationship with people. You know, you have these people that either you've been working with for a while or are just kind of starting to get interested in your business. This is more than ever the time to not let these relationships fizzle out. This is time to hold on to every business opportunity you have, even if you can't do business with them right now. If you're, you know, if you're in quarantine, if you're in shutdown, if you are limited with your ability to provide services, you know, you still need to kind of hold on to these people and keep some sort of conversation going. Look for any reason to stay in touch with them. And I think that's why I thought that question was really interesting about, you know, how do I do this retention? You know, how does it work? And I think video is a great tool for that because, as you said, Owen, it is really very much about forming a connection. It's not just like, you know, oh, some banner pops up on social media or whatever. You know, I'm actually having a conversation. I'm actually talking to you. I'm reading what you're writing in the comments right now. And I think the thing about video, it has to, you know, if video is your like face-to-face, you also have to have your behind your scenes, like I guess like what's happening behind the scene. You can't go live every single day on Facebook, talk to these people. And you know, at VCTA, we've really invested a lot in trying to support businesses with being able to kind of have some sort of ongoing communication with your customers, whether it's maybe like the announcements, which are like a one-off kind of campaign, or the automated campaigns. Maybe Marcus can tell you guys a little bit more about that, because those are two super popular features that are, by the way, also usually the whole marketing area in VCTA is available to the premium packages. So that would be if you are a business or platinum user. But nowadays, you know, because we really want to support the small business community, we've gone ahead and opened up the whole marketing module and all its features to all VCTA users on all packages. So maybe Marcus wants to say a couple words just about, you know, those features and how you can use them to do exactly that, to nurture those relationships, continue, you know, maintaining some sort of ongoing communication with the people you work with.
Yeah, I mean, I personally really like the triggered campaigns because I myself am not great at marketing. That's not my forte. But when we already have a library built out, like what we do in VCTA, and you can just set specific parameters, like if a client hasn't reached back out to you or engaged with you in a specific amount of time and their status is also a lead or maybe a customer, or you want to proactively reach out to people who are leaving you great reviews and encourage them to share that on your review site. That's like one of my favorite tools because you literally set that up once, you set it live, and then you just do your thing, which is what I personally like. I don't like marketing. It's not my thing. Sales is my thing.
2 points, right? Like marketing is messaging, but it's also a lot of technical skills, right? It's about having the triggers and the automation set up. Jody, I think, is using ConvertKit. We use some pretty fancy stuff over here. But, I'll tell you, nothing has been more profitable for us in the long term than identifying our core audience, creating content for them, having them call us. And we have funnels to kind of bring in the rest. And we teach a whole course on video sales funnels and YouTube sales funnels. But, when it comes to running our business, the biggest gains we make are like when those people call us, I saw your YouTube video, we send them a Visita link and they schedule a time with us. And we do that on Zoom. And that's where we close our customers. And so that's where I would recommend you guys focus your energy and then build from there. We have a question about screen sharing. And I want to let you know that you can screen share. So right now I am sharing my screen and it's actually on my page that promotes my upcoming free YouTube Q&A session. And that's at the link here. But here's the thing is that you can share your screen on Visita and your guests can share their screen. Even better, you can disallow that control as well. So you could set it up in Zoom where everyone can share their screen, or nobody can share their screen, or only who you say gets to share your screen. So yes, you do have screen sharing features available. And I love to see, all the Zoom experts that we have sort of in the thread today. That question was for Carol, but Mila has mentioned that she knows the screen share feature as well. Can you guys still hear me? I heard that there was someone saying they can't hear audio anymore. But luckily on Zoom, I can see that my mic track is still moving. So it might just be, the internet speeds are varying from town to town and from place to place. Let me hustle through a couple more of these questions coming in. Jacqueline Rowe is asking, how do you connect a hardwired iPad for screen sharing? Oh my gosh, it is so easy. So check this out. I'm actually going to click on share screen and I'm going to click on and now I just happen to have my iPad with me. Because I use it on the daily. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go onto my iPad. I know you guys can't see this, but I'm going to go onto my iPad and I'm going to, scroll down from the upper corner here and click on screen mirroring. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go onto Zoom and click on iPhone, iPad via AirPlay. And then what'll happen is I'll be able to pick up my iPad in Zoom and I'll be able to, beam it up onto my Zoom screen. Now, I'm not the administrator of this event and it looks like iPad beaming is not allowed for this event. However, that's just another setting. So at any time when I'm doing my own thing, I can easily share my iPad or my iPhone screen. In fact, let me see if did that work?
Something's happening.
Hey, check this out, guys. I may have figured it out.
Oh, wow. Here we go. Okay.
Nice.
All right, so great. So, now I'm in my iPad and I can easily show, hey, look, when you start on YouTube, you develop, content silos and then those content silos will generate leads. And then those leads you pull into your funnel and so on and so forth. And I can do this live. I mean, I was able to do that without even breaking my stride right in the conversation. That's how easy it is. So the question is, my iPad is hardwired. You don't need to hardwire it. Just make sure your iPad and your laptop, your desktop are connected to the same internet service. Click on share screen, click on iPad, click the blue share button, and then it will work. Okay, David Schneider is asking, what's the best platform for creating an online interactive community? I would say, hands down, Facebook Live is where you want to build community. And here's why. Because the entire world is on Facebook. Not everyone is on Instagram. Instagram has a limit of how many people you can add to a private thread, et cetera, et cetera. You could build out a private course in a course membership area and have comments, but you'll probably use a Facebook plugin for that anyway. And not every comment section is great for mobile users, and we really have to be building a mobile user-friendly platform first. So I would build your communities in Facebook. I've seen, coaches implement fantastic strategies in Facebook. We're actually building a strategy for a client right now, real estate agent, wants to make it big on YouTube. And so we're going to put the content on YouTube, but we're going to drive, hey, you want to go deeper and participate in webinars? Join us in the Facebook group. So that's where I would build my community. And I would just go with that and start building it, as opposed to doing like, oh, okay, well, I got to find out 7 more solutions and then pick the best one for me. Pick Facebook groups and use it and then investigate other options while you're building your Facebook group. Okay, because it'll be easier to switch people over than it will be to just never do anything and research all the time, right? We call that analysis paralysis. And I'm not saying you're that type of thinker, but I want to just warn against that. Right now, folks, right now is action taking time, right? The hemming and the hawing over, do I go virtual? Do I do this or not? Is only going to put you farther behind in the race, right? Make the decision now, go virtual, master it, spend a couple of late nights figuring it out, and come back next Monday strong. And, do that, because decision makers win. Decision makers win. It's easier to course correct once you're moving. Think about a ship, like a barge in the ocean. It's easier to get that ship to move 3 degrees west than it is to get that ship off the dock, right? So just start moving your ship, and you can dial it in over time. Plus, you'll already have experience with a group, and so you'll know, I need a group that does this, or I need a group that does that. And it's possible that Facebook group already does it. They do so much in Facebook. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to chime in here for a second and say that I think, I can really relate to what you just said, how some businesses are kind of taking an extra second to sort of say, wait, am I going digital? I kind of like doing things, the good old way. And who knows how long, this thing is going to go on. The whole, it might blow over in a matter of a couple of weeks. And oh my God, I've transformed my entire business model. Like, how do I even start going back to what I was doing before? And I think, the thing about going digital, and I think both of you guys would agree with me here, is that it's not only about, oh my God, the COVID outbreak right now, I can't do my thing face to face. I have to do it online just as a temporary solution. Like, digital transformation was a thing before COVID and will continue being after, because, that's just life. You always have to have some sort of digital foundation that can help you get through whatever it is you're going through in your personal life. This year it happens to be the pandemic. Who knows? You always want to have some sort of ability to kind of not be limited to meeting people face to face, or being in an actual physical place at a particular time, and then investing now in these assets, building up your online presence, setting up things like having some sort of online scheduling in place, online marketing, online payments. All these things will continue serving your business in the long term. If you're considering making the shift now, it's definitely something that'll pay off.
Yeah, Visita grew my business 107% when I had cancer. Okay, so what happened during cancer? I was not able to go out and meet with people anymore. Now, at the time, I was a local business going to Chamber of Commerce meetings. I was going to BNI meetings, and I was doing the whole breakfast thing and spending a lot of time with people that wanted to do coffee shop talk. Hey, well, let's meet at Starbucks and we'll talk about our business, and I'll try to sell you mine and you'll try to sell me yours. And I was doing that whole local business thing. Boom, cancer hits. I can no longer go out, and I can no longer prospect for sales. So I had to move everything virtual anyway, and that allowed me to grow my business 107%. Why? Because I was no longer spending the time to drive to Starbucks to meet someone who would be late, who then I had to chit chat with, how's your kids and how's all the things I don't care about? Like, we're here to do business. You know what I mean? And I'm being a little brash to prove a point. I'm a very congenial, personable person, but I'm just trying to be brash, right? At the end of the day, every single one of your hours should be monetized. And when you go and you meet someone at a coffee shop, you are spending all of this time that is just not on IGAs, income generating activities. It's driving to Starbucks. It's sitting down. It's waiting. It's ordering a coffee. It's chit chat. And then it's like the awkward, okay, well, let's wrap up. And how long does this take? And blah, blah, blah. And now you spend 15 minutes just saying goodbye. Whereas with a virtual call, you've got 15 minutes. So you might have been, when all of this goes back to normal, and I believe it will go back to a new normal. I believe that we'll see a new normal by the fall. It doesn't mean we won't be wearing masks and bandanas. I think that we will. But I think that we'll be meeting with people again. I think that we're flattening the curve in a lot of key areas like California, where I live. So I think we're going to see that. But I would still encourage you now to be the leader, because you could do what? Like 4 15-minute calls in the same amount of time it took you to do one Starbucks meet. And not only that, you didn't waste your customers' time either. So they see you as modern, sleek, fast, and someone that they can look up to. right, in your business. And I know there's probably a lot of resistance. There's probably some people that are really terrified of it. For those people, I want to encourage you that there are trainers, people like me, and maybe I'm too brash, right? Maybe there's you need someone a little more gentle. Find that person and get trained and work with a coach, because they'll get you there faster and you'll be very, very slick. And in the end, it's going to be a really good thing for your business. Mila is asking another question. Jody Bentley is saying, congrats on being a survivor. I'm 10 years clean and sober. Jody, that is so powerful. And I just got so much love for you. My wife and I, we did a lot of counseling, and we have a lot of family in the recovery community. And so that's very, very special that you would share that. Thank you. Mila is asking, do all my clients need to install Zoom to their device? There is a plugin and there is an app. And if I were you, I would combine that into a launch where you say, yeah, we're going digital, everybody, which means my calls will be digital and we'll get to hang out and do Zooms. Here, go get the link. And Zoom has a page where just one page where you can get all of their apps in there. There's stuff just for Chrome and for Firefox and for everything. So like, make it an announcement. Right? Make it a thing that you do. Like, we're having a Zoom party, a launch party, and you get everybody up on Zoom. But even if you don't, it takes, as soon as they click a Zoom link, it'll start to auto install, and it takes 30 seconds and they're done. So unless you're going to announce it, don't even tell them. Just let them click it and install it. You might even want to tell them, hey, click the link to make sure you can get on. Like, go ahead and click the link today, to make sure that you can log on, and then they'll install it that day. Mila is saying, I'm digital for 5 years and use Skype. Look, I want to be really clear. If you're using Skype and it's working for you, right, then use Visita and use the Skype connection. I never used Skype, and I have a lot of personal reasons for that. I just didn't have a lot of success with Skype when it was brand new. So we didn't use it. As I think that the whole point of this conversation is find what works for you and double down on your Visita appointments, okay? Mm-hmm. Create new services or change existing services to have a video call feature, because that's the coaching that they asked me to come on here for. Right? That's what I did really well. Grew my business 107%. I'm watching my clients have phenomenal success with this Zoom schedule your own content time, and then turning that content into YouTube videos, which could then become a book or a podcast. I mean, it's a smart thing to do. And the team here at Visita, Mila, is here to help you integrate to that. And so the customer service, I don't get great customer service just because I know Rachel, right? I get great customer service because it's built into the culture at Visita. And that's something that I really like about it. Are you guys good if I slam out a couple more of these questions? Because we still have a handful here.
Yeah,
let's do it.
There is just one more thing before, we just touched on this before, and I just want to say it again in case you guys missed it. The whole thing with, Zoom versus Skype versus Hangouts, at the end of the day, we do recommend Zoom. That's why we went ahead and created the integration, but it is just a channel. It is just a place for you to meet people online. And what really matters is for you to feel comfortable with the orchestrator. So the framework around that online platform. So the place where you, manage your customer relationships and collect your payments and do your scheduling, all the stuff around has to sit really solid. And then you can use the platform of choice when it comes to video. But again, we do recommend Zoom. That is why we went ahead with the integration. And I see a really interesting here about pipeline management and, how to manage leads at this time. I think this could be an interesting one for Marcus.
Yeah, I mean, we really use the status filter on the CRM, right? So we have some automated options in there where as soon as a client pays for a service, it can get switched over to a client. Those are all wording wise editable. You can put whatever you want in there, typo and everything. Well, that's how we use it, is when a client comes in and they haven't talked to anybody before, it automatically comes in as a lead. And then when you enter in that client card, you can change them over to a customer or a VIP member, MVP, and send out very specific announcements to those very specific people.
Yeah, so that's really important, because if you're having these online sessions and you get, 10, 20 people, 30 people online, and then you want to go back and kind of follow up with them, you really need to be able to say, this dude over here is someone new, I haven't done business with him before. I need to kind of entertain this type of conversation with him, as opposed to, oh, this lady, good old Rachel, I've been working with her for years, I can just drop her a note and be fine. So you also need to kind of be wary of, these are leads, these are my VIP customers, these are people I've been working for years. Again, like it comes back to that relationship. And this is important all the time, but now more than ever, it's time to nurture your relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, that's big. And that goes into like so many of the questions that we got. And Jose Castaneda is watching. Fabian Ortiz, great to see you. The man, Brian Morales, is watching. So great to have you guys out here. So many of the questions that we got asked is like, how do I use Visita to market and manage my customers? And I would really urge you guys to reach out to Marcus or Rachel, and I'm putting you guys on the spot here, and see if you can't like look at the vast wealth of content that they have on their website that will show you different strategies and techniques. So there's no real one way. But the one way that I would encourage all of you guys to use Visita to market to your current clients is to schedule content times on your own calendar where you are your own appointment and you're investing the time into yourself that you would invest into clients. Now is the time where you've got to be taking care of yourself and making sure that you have, all of your ducks in a row and that you're building your business. And so, I would like to see you, going, scheduling an appointment through Visita and going live on Zoom that is streamed through Facebook once a week, and you're answering one question and then maybe doing Q&A with anybody that may show up. We had a question here about how long should your Facebook Live be? 10 to 20 minutes. That's it. Like, come out, say your piece, ask if there's any questions, and if not, hang up, right? That's it. It's as long as it needs to be. Now, if you have enough content to fill an hour, that's good too. I'm live on Facebook for 1 hour with 2 different shows. Both of those shows have over 100 live viewers per session, and that works for us. Some shows are 35 minutes because they're just shorter content, but that's really just 10 to 20 minutes in a systematic way. Now we're getting these other questions like, does Visita integrate with YouTube? No, and it shouldn't. You should not be streaming your conference calls or video conferences directly onto YouTube. You should be using Visita to schedule a Facebook Live that you record onto Zoom, and then you take that recording and edit it onto YouTube, okay? You should never take a native piece of video like a webinar or a thing that you're doing, like a video call, and just stream it onto YouTube. That is not what works on YouTube. With YouTube, you really want to be like editing down the piece and making it short and succinct and consumable for your audience. What you start to stream on YouTube and you realize like you find you're getting 7 views per video. It's because it's not content made for YouTube. YouTube is a production zone, so you need to have structure and story and these different things. Facebook Live isn't like that. Okay, so avoid the urge to just stream your stuff on YouTube. Right? Instead, do an interview with somebody. We just did this, by the way, before this. Ask them 3 questions, chop their answers into quick answers, and then record yourself saying, hey, today I asked Bob Jones 3 big questions on how to do XYZ, and here's what he said. Bob answers the 3 questions. It comes back to you, and it's like, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on YouTube. I mean, come on. Like, boom, can I get a mic drop, please? So yeah, I wouldn't directly publish onto YouTube. I would avoid that urge. And if you want to know more about YouTube, type YouTube in the comments. I'll invite you to my live stream tomorrow, and we can answer your questions. Another question I got from Andy Rodriguez is saying, does YouTube punish your channel if you have links to other websites? It's a really great question. The answer is kinda. It just depends on the relevancy. If every video you make is like, go to my website, go to my website, go to my website, YouTube's not going to like that. But if you make 3 videos that are like, hey, watch this video next, hey, watch this video next, hey, watch this video next, and then 1 video that says, now go to my website and buy, well, that's okay, and that's pretty normal. And so those are a couple of YouTube-specific strategy questions I wanted to answer. I know that we're running out of time. And so, I've had a great time being here with you and can't wait to do more of this. If anybody wants to follow me, please go to Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. I put my link in the comments. Just search Owen Video. And we've got a YouTube Q&A tomorrow morning. If anybody wants to join us, we'd be happy to see you there as well.
Yeah, and Visita is, so some of you may already be using Visita. If you guys have any questions, we are absolutely here to support you always and during these difficult times. I just placed a link in the comments where you can go ahead, drop us a message, let us know how we can help. If you are, not sure how to work the Zoom integration, if you want to use the marketing module that's open out to all Visita users, but not really sure how to utilize it for your business. If you have any question about using Visita or taking your business online, go ahead and use that link to get in touch with the team. They are here, they are listening. There's a ton of stuff already online on our help center, but we are also here to have the conversations with you, provide you with the information you need. If you aren't using Visita yet, or if you maybe tried it out in the past, had a free trial and never really done anything about it, Marcus is your guy, people. I mean, we have a 14-day free trial. You can go ahead, give Visita a spin, check out the different features, see how it works for your business. I highly recommend that you hop on a call with Marcus or one of the guys on the team. They can really help you understand how to utilize Visita, which type of features and use cases would be best for your business. So if you haven't had a trial yet, definitely get in touch with, just go to visita.com actually, and just start your free trial today, or schedule a call with the team, or do both. And then if you already had a trial, you can't actually start one with the same email. That's absolutely fine. Just reach out to the team, reach out to Marcus and the guys. They'll help you set up another free trial so you can use Visita and help your business go online. And just again, if you have any other questions, feel free to use the link I just posted in the comments. We are here. We're happy to talk to you guys about taking your business online, staying in touch with the customers. We are 100% here for you. So please don't be shy. Just drop us a note and we'll be in touch real soon. Thank you so much for joining today, Owen and Marcus. Guys, this is a huge shout out to all you fierce business owners out there. This is really unbelievable. So many people right now are feeling so overwhelmed and not sure about what the right course of action is to take. And just the fact that you guys are here on this Q&A session, exploring, looking into what you can do to keep your business up and running during these challenging times is actually a huge deal. I mean, just the fact that you are out there eager to learn, want to pivot, want to do things better with your business, that is massive. And this is, we really appreciate you guys taking the time to join us today. We actually had a session about a week and a half ago with Owen where he really talked more about the integration with Zoom. If you want to learn more about that, you just scroll up in the comments. I put a link there too. And that's it. Maybe, do you have any other questions for Marcus? We have a couple more minutes and then we're going to have to sign off. If there's anything else, please feel to drop us a note. I actually have something that someone sent me via email. Somebody wanted to know how to better utilize the campaigns and notification system. So Marcus, if you want to take this one.
The campaigns and notification systems. Yeah, I mean, it's all about feedback loops, right? So the campaigns being if a client hasn't contacted you in a while or left you a great review, or you're doing the newsletters, and the notifications, you can kind of set up a variation of the text message notifications and the email notifications alongside the follow-ups. I think the follow-ups are really big. I actually use that one to prompt for a review first, and then follow that up with a triggered review to share it off into different areas. But honestly, kind of like what Rachel said, if you guys haven't started a trial yet, the best place to get all of your answers or your questions answered would be just schedule a demo with us. We'll go through all of that with you guys one-on-one versus having to wait your turn on getting your question answered.
Absolutely. All right, guys, thank you again for joining us today. We'll be back soon with more content to help you guys keep your business up and running during these challenging times. Stay safe, stay sane, which is important, and keep positive. We're here for you, and we'll be back soon. Take care.